This is Dr. Ron Daniels, President of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. We want to wish you best wishes for a productive and joyous new year. It's been a great year for IBW, actually. Very impressive work. But it's been done on guts and faith. That means we don't have all the resources we need to do the work at the level we would like to. But nonetheless, we've been doing that work. First of all, we continue to do work on the war on drugs. The war on drugs is a war on us. And if you see what's happening around Ferguson, I think many of you know that that is the case. In this last year, we continued to build justice collaboratives in 3 cities. We're really 4, but particularly in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, and also in Baltimore. Last year, working with Sister Andrea James out of Boston, we put together the first ever Free Her rally, focused on incarcerated black women and women of color. This is an issue that has not been covered previously as strongly as it needs to be covered, but we did that last year, again on guts and faith. On the Ferguson issue, we had a major town hall meeting at Busboys and Poets in Washington, D.C. Some of you may have seen it on C-SPAN. And we challenged the nation, particularly the black nation, to let young leaders take the lead. And many of them are taking the lead, and we're sort of standing back and providing advice and counsel to some of the most brilliant young leaders in the country today. We also had another breakthrough with the Federal Emergency Management Administration, FEMA. You remember FEMA and how they functioned in New Orleans and what a bad rap they had. Well, working with Barbara Leonard Dunstan, who's President Emeritus of the National Association of Black Social Workers, we had a breakthrough. We signed a milestone agreement with FEMA establishing an African American Advisory Committee, so that from this point on, when they're doing business in the African American community or there's a crisis, an emergency, they will help us understand what they need to do, and we can help them to understand what they need to do in order to treat our community more respectfully. And brothers and sisters, we haven't forgotten about Haiti. You know, the Institute of the Black World 21st Century, through the Haiti Support Project, is the leading organization organizing African Americans to work with Haitian Americans to support the process of democracy and development in Haiti. And many of you have contributed to that process, and we thank you so much for that. And we'll continue to do that next year. In fact, next year is the 20th anniversary of the founding of the Haiti Support Project, and we hope that you're going to be involved with us in some of the work that we do in Haiti. We did a major symposium on the future of democracy and development in Africa and the Caribbean, bringing together the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the Honorable Dr. Pedro Pierce, the former Prime Minister and President of Cape Verde. It was an incredible event. And that's IBW really working very effectively to bring these issues to the public. And of course, when Nelson Mandela died, we didn't just celebrate his life. We talked about his life and legacy and what are the implications for Nelson Mandela's legacy right now. And we raised some very challenging questions about the future of South Africa today. And of course, we said it within the context of saying the struggle there is yet to be completed. And reparations is making a comeback. Reparations is something that I've always believed in, and certainly IBW does well as well. This last year at the Chicago State University, we had an incredible forum on revitalizing the reparations movement in the United States. And we brought Sir Hilary Beckles, the leading public intellectual in the Caribbean, and one of the leading public intellectuals among black people in the world, to Chicago State University. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was there, John Conyers. We had a tremendous, and some of you probably saw that forum. It is a part of the rebirth of the reparations movement. And then we went to the Congressional Black Caucus, where John Conyers said the forum that we pulled together with Camilo Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ta-Nehisi Coates. You know that young brother, right? He has lit this country on fire with the article he did in the Atlantic Monthly magazine about reparations. He was there, and Kichi Taifa was there. Congressman Conyers said this was the most impressive forum he had held since 1989 on this issue. And so coming forward, in this coming spring, we'll be hosting actually the CARICOM Reparations Commission right here in the United States as we seek to give the reparations movement a boost. In fact, we're going to create our own reparations commission with some of the most dynamic, prominent and effective organizers and reparations activists right here in these United States of America. So brothers and sisters, that's a lot of very powerful work. And I haven't mentioned just the fact that we have a Pan-African Unity Dialogue in New York where we bring together people from the African American community, Continental African community, Caribbean Americans, Afro-Latinos every 3 months. That's kind of how IBW works. It's about collaboration, about bringing our people together, about strategically to talk about how we can effectively learn from each other and move the struggle forward. That's how we work. But we need you to help us do that work. Some of the things I've outlined are not going to be funded by corporations. They're not going to be funded by some foundations as well. So in the spirit of Marcus Garvey, we're asking you to support us, for you to give us a lending hand, for you, our brothers and sisters, to give us a gift during this holiday season, to make it relevant, to make it effective. And you can do that. I'm going to ask you, those of you who could afford to, make a tax-deductible contribution of $100 to support the work of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century. We have another program, however, that we also want you to support. So even if you give $100, and if you give less, that's fine, because whatever you give is going to be fine. Because at the end of the day, it's about what you can afford to do. But we have a brother named Gregory Griffin, who's out of Baltimore. Since 2001, Gregory Griffin has contributed $10. Let me say that again, $10 to the Institute of the Black World 21st Century without fail every month. We have a program called the Gregory Griffin Contributing Circle. You can give your $100 or $25 or $50, or maybe you'll give $1,000. We don't know. But also sign up to be a recurring contributor. Sign up by credit card to make a contribution to IBW every month. So go to our website, www.ibw21.org, and you can make that contribution today. Encourage your friends and family to do likewise. Again, this is guts and faith work, but we don't want to continue to do it on that basis. We believe that if enough of you sign up, we can really build a movement like Marcus Garvey did from the bottom up. And sign up for the Gregory Griffin Contributor Circle. Now, if you don't want to sign up on the internet, you can also write a check. That check should be made out to the Institute of the Black World, and you mail it to 31-35 95th Street, East Elmhurst, New York, 11369. Have a pleasant and joyous and productive holiday season, and you can bet your bottom dollar that we are going to continue the struggle. We conclude by saying, a luta continua.